Reporting from the 2019 Alaska Federation of Natives Convention in Fairbanks, Alaska, I'm Trip Krause. Two young women made an impassioned plea to the AFN delegation to declare a climate emergency. 15-year-old Donna Esch Peter read a resolution written at the Elders and Youth Conference. She later spoke in favor of that resolution.
All of our futures too, because I'm sure you guys all have grandchildren or nieces or nephews. And it's their futures, and it's all of our futures, and it's all of our traditions and rights and cultures to keep this land healthy and to keep our people happy. And economic growth and money is not a part of that conversation. And it should only be our futures that we are worried about right now, because it is urgent and it is now.
Her best friend and 17-year-old Quanah Chasinghorse also spoke to the resolution.
You know, there are plenty of renewable resources that will be able to, prevent us from having to fight for our own ways of life. And I am not an environmentalist. I'm an Indigenous youth. I am Indigenous, and we are not here to fight with our own people. We are here to stand together. This is a serious issue. I'm worried about our future generations. Like, we're crying up here. We should not have to cry to you guys.
Elders and Youth brings together Alaska's younger and older generations. As a precedent to AFN, the Elders and Youth often pass their own resolutions. Those resolutions can then go before the AFN delegation. That is, if they meet the deadline. When it came down to it, after an American Gladiators-like gamut of parliamentary procedure, the AFN delegation was largely in support. They voted and passed a resolution, which also would form a Climate Action Leadership Task Force. Peter hopes the conversation around climate change continues.
The Climate Action Leadership Task Force that is going to be brought into AFN because of this passing is really opening the door for all these other conversations that already came up today. And so I'm excited to see how those conversations play out with this task force established. And I think it was a win, and it was really positive, and through it I felt a lot of unity and solidarity with my people, too.
Exactly. Earlier in the day, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski also took the time to address climate change. KYUK's Kirsty Schellenberger has more.
Addressing the AFN delegation from the main stage, Murkowski described the wildfires and impacts to fish she saw and heard from this summer.
But I have been able to see, because you have helped me see firsthand how the climate continues to change, and it's changing faster here than ever. We're all seeing the impact on our fish, on our birds, the animals, your food. This summer, we saw some pretty extraordinary things when pallets of fans were being loaded onto the jet to go into Kotzebue. So many of us saw and tasted the choke from the smoke that was on the Kenai Peninsula, out and around Willow. I was getting reports from folks out in Aniak and Red Devil of the same, with all of the smoke that we saw from the wildfires that are impacting our state.
After the speech, Murkowski answered questions from the local press, most of which focused on the lack of public safety in rural Alaska. Murkowski is introducing a bill that builds off Alaska Representative Don Young's proposal to pick 5 villages for a pilot project that would give them special jurisdiction over domestic violence and add more resources. And Murkowski voiced her thoughts about the state's efforts.
Do I think the state should be doing more when it comes to public safety? Yes.
Special thanks to KYUK's Kirsty Schellenberger and freelance reporter Emily Schwing. You're listening to the Tanana Traditional Dancers. In Fairbanks, I'm Trip Krause.
The AFN Newscast, produced by KNBA and Koahnic Broadcast Corporation. Funding by Arctic Slope Regional Corporation, Rasmussen Foundation, ConocoPhillips, the Siri Foundation, Exxon Mobil Alaska, South Central Foundation, Manilik Association, Chalista Corporation, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Cook Inlet Lending Center, and Foundation Health Partners. This is a production of KNBA, Koahnic Broadcast Corporation, and Native Voice One, the Native American radio service.